This is the part that I'm really excited to get to, these next two stories. Now that we got past the general news, and that the reason why you guys want to be very careful and keep yourself safe and aware is because there's a lot of tomfoolery and demonic powers that's walking around. Now, last year, this is the fun part, okay? And this is what I discovered. Now, a lot of you guys are gonna see this and you'll be like, "What? Yeah. Last year, I did a story on Trevor Bauer, right? You remember him, Toy? I remember him too, right? And Trevor Bauer got finessed. Not only did he get finessed, but on top of that, he basically lost a lot of money. MLB player. Baseball and basketball players have some of the most lucrative contracts in all of sports outside of what they call football or soccer outside of the United States of America, right? And again, he was running it up. He was getting to a bag. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of insight from his accuser at the time, who I think her name was Lindsay Hill. And I actually played this for you on a previous Millionaire Morning show. This is some of what she was saying.
Yesterday, we discussed the conclusion of former Major League Baseball player Trevor Bauer. How can you expect anyone to believe that?
That's a great question. I really appreciate you having me on to even have this conversation. Obviously, there's a lot going on around this, so I really appreciate people who are asking questions about it. The first thing I want to say is, I think that Trevor did this intentionally with the text messages and how he framed this video. There's several things in it that are not correct. And I just want to start out by saying, it's so valid for people to question those text messages. But the root of the problem here is that he is presenting this as one conversation, when in reality he had thousands of messages to choose from, took those, made it look sequential, which it was not. There is no combined screenshot of those things going on one after the other. And as I said last night as well, there's no text message that ever exists. Otherwise he would have, put it out there, combining, anything about a setup through rough sex, finances all in one. Those were handpicked, and they were from multiple different conversations all before we met up. And I think that the video in general doesn't even talk about what actually happened between us two, which is what would have come out during a jury trial. These were all messages that happened before. And then, of course, the video is so valid as well for people to ask questions about. But I do think that video was entirely misleading. He also references the restraining order hearing, which people also have questions about. He says that he was cleared of any wrongdoing, which is actually incorrect. In our civil case, the judge had actually ruled that he had not been cleared of any wrongdoing, and that was a federal court judge. So I want to get to the domestic violence restraining order hearing as well, but I mean, so you're saying that it's misleading because you're admitting that you did talk about rough sex and wanting rough sex. You did talk about him needing to choke you out. You did talk about stealing his money, but it's misleading because he put them together in the same video as if you had said it in the same conversation when in fact it was separate conversations, correct? That's why it's misleading? Correct, and as well as not showing, the messages that occurred after where it discusses it strictly in the term of, being a baseball wife or something like that.
Or something like that. Okay. I'm just curious if you know, like, the statistical likelihood of you texting your friend premeditated texts saying you wanted him to choke you out and steal his money, take his money, and him actually choking you out, and those two things not being related.
It's a really, really valid question. And like I said, I think you would need to look through each conversation. Those were handpicked. But I can, like I said last night, completely own the fact that those were overly sarcastic, overly inappropriate to some may seem. And it does give off that impression about clout chaser and totally attention-seeking behavior. But I just feel that they have, nothing to do with what actually took place. But it does.
So that's a general idea of who this Lindsay Hill was that we discussed at some point late last year or in the beginning of the year. about Trevor Bauer and how he was accused of something, lost a whole lot of money as a result of it, and then had to fight for justice, and then they didn't give it as much coverage after he got accused as they did when he did get accused, right? It's always guilty by public opinion, guilty in the eyes of the people. You're guilty in the eyes of public opinion and by social media before you ever get a jury trial, before you ever go to court. And this is one of the same things that I was saying about Cassie and everybody else, right? We don't know who's what until we get the text messages. Y'all said that about Nathan Wade and Fannie Willis, and then, she was pistol grip pump P or F, Fannie or whatever, right? But the idea of it is that we always jump to conclusions and say somebody should go to jail or somebody did something or somebody should lose their job, even though we live in a country that's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Now, Trevor Bauer got Me Too'd. That's the other part of this. He got Me Too'd. And Trevor Bauer is speaking about it because he has a channel in which he has a conversation about it. And the woman that he got Me Too'd with, roll with me here, we going down a rabbit hole. The woman that he got Me Too'd by just so happened to be a black woman. But it doesn't stop there. Here's Trevor Bauer's assessment of getting Me Too, but now the woman that tried to ride the coattails and get him set up also, she's facing charges.
One of the women who accused me of sexual assault just got indicted for committing felony fraud against me. Imagine that. Now, let me catch you up to speed. In the last 3 years, 2 women have taken legal action against me. Lindsay Hill started all of this. You may remember her from this video as the girl who set me up and lied to the world in an attempt to take my money. Well, today, the only other one, Darcy Adana Asimonu, has been criminally indicted for committing felony fraud against me and another man. So now she's facing up to 16 years in prison. Her claims are even more absurd than Lindsay's were, so here's some of the details. We had one plain sexual encounter in December of 2020, nothing that could be considered remotely rough. She initiated it, but don't take my word for it, take hers. This is a picture and text message she sent me the next morning, explaining why she came on to me. And for months afterwards, she repeatedly requested to sleep with me again. For example, this text from January 7th, 2021. At one point, she even requested a sample of my sperm so she could have my child whenever she wanted to in the future.
So she could have his child whenever she wanted to in the future. Now, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the pictures, and I'm looking at the cover photo, and I'm looking at the pictures, and we're going to come back to Trevor Bauer, all right? We're going to come back to him. But what's odd about this is this woman just seems so familiar, and I'm like, where did I see this woman at? Where did I see her at? What's going on? She was on the Balloon Pop show, and she was the one with the sassy attitude, long legs, and had a lot to say to every man about how they don't measure up, and that a woman of her caliber was so awesome. Yet she was on a Balloon Pop show. I said, no way. This is impossible. There's no way that a woman that's on the Balloon Pop show is the same woman that tried to finesse Trevor Bauer in a Me Too. Impossible. No way. You don't believe me? Let me fast forward it to it. There she is, the very first one that shows up on the Balloon Pop show. I am not kidding you, Brandy. I am not kidding you, Belle. I'm not kidding you, Treese. I'm not kidding you, Fi Brown. I'm not kidding you, Enforcer. No. Yes. They're all recycling. So before I play this Balloon Pop show, let me say this, okay? Because I was looking at it this morning. I said, what the heck is going on? Now, before we get into Balloon Pop show real quick, so you can see what her attitude and her disposition were towards the men and why she had such a nasty attitude at them in the first place. Am I right or am I right? You say, Anton, what are you right about? Every single video that I do on a regular basis in which I say we have to hold these people accountable for the things that they do because they are bad for our community, and I'm an equal accountability smoke giver. I hold men accountable and I hold women accountable, but the only ones that complain about it are who? People in a green dress. People in the green dress, and they say, Anton, you don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Just give it some time. Give it some time. We're going to revisit it. Give it some time. We're going to be right back here having a conversation, and I'm going to say, I told you so. I'm going to say, I told you so. Yes, give it some time. We're going to get there. So let's fast forward a little bit and see if we can find a segment of the show where she had a lot to say about a lot of different people.
We got great nightlife out there.
Hold on, let me see if I can roll mine.
Cool. All right.
So, my name's Adana, and I'm full grown. My talent about myself is that I know myself.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Good. Okay, we just gonna get.
Popping Adonis.
I didn't really. Yeah, she popped it because she felt it. She felt it, but like, I wasn't really sure about her answer. Like it was. I'm sorry. It was like explanatory, but it didn't really answer what I was asking, more or less. You know what I mean?
I didn't give too much of an answer because I was still.
On
I was
the fence.
hoping someone would say something that I was thinking before I could say it.
I feel it.
But
Everybody hikes
I
in here.
popped it because, yeah, I was trying to figure out what it was, but yeah, it was definitely the distraction of the see-through pant, and then
They
the
ivory.
jewelry, like the earrings for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I
if
feel
I
it.
have to go, based off looks,
Yeah, we splitting hairs in here, so
more or less.
more or less. All right.
Okay. And then let's go down here. You end up.
That's her. That's her. Listen, y'all on these dating shows like fools. And y'all over here pitching yourselves and y'all throwing yourselves at these funky hoes that don't have your best interests at heart. And then we see them and they jump on these shows and they talk about what they are. This hoe is facing 16 years. 16 years. And at the end of that sentence, found out it wasn't his. She gives me money. Yeah. Y'all pitching yourself to this woman. Let's see where we can get her sentiment is. Come on, let's talk about it, Adana.
Okay, let's go to our next lady here.
Hi, my name's Adana, and I popped my balloon because I just feel like maybe you're the type of guy that I would see in passing and just say hello and that's it and keep it moving. But you do have a cool, energy about you. And in addition, you just said you like shorter women. I'm on the taller spectrum.
She on there to promote herself, y'all. Listen, I know the finesse. I seen it well. She's on this show to promote herself. She looking for a next come up, next dummy. And the reason that she feeling so haughty is because she already tried to meet too a baseball player that she done slept with already. She's sleeping with all of these guys already. Look, man, I'm telling you. I said it when I first looked at her. When I first reviewed this video, I spotted it. I spotted it a long time ago, and I was right. I spotted it a long time ago, and I was dead right. Absolutely. On the spot. 100%. They all finessing you. Anton, no. Some people just got to pass. Some people can come back. No. I know it. I seen it. I spotted it. And I said, that one in the green, that's the Me Tooer. That's the finesser. That's the one that's out here busting it down for a real one and then trying to come back and then stealing for everything that he got now that she seen Lindsay tried to get her civil suit. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I was right. I'm always right. I'm always right. You can't finesse me. You can't trick me. I'm always right 100% of the time. Yes, I am.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling her?
You're not really my type.
That's right.
You are pretty. You carry yourself, I look at beauty in so many different ways. You carry yourself very well. I like your outfit. It's just not something like if I saw her, we were going out, I would be like, can you change? You know what I mean? And it's not that it's bad. It's just that I'm not into that type of,
Different caliber.
different, yeah. I like artsy women that like art and different type of things like that.
Expense.
You can be artsy and expensive at the same time.
I didn't
Trust
say,
me.
I didn't say expensive.
Oh, I thought you said. I'm sorry. I thought you said
You told on
expensive.
yourself.
Yeah.
You told on yourself.
No,
And look at them. All of these girls is giggling. They think that they awesome. Hello? This is Anton. I'm all right. How you doing? Okay, yeah. Can you call me in like 35 minutes? Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
I thought that's what you said.
Do y'all see all of the giggling around and all of this stuff and all of the he-keying, kiki-ing, and haw-hawing and oh my God, that's so funny, and women supporting women and women on the same side as women. Do y'all see it? Do you see why we say that sister code is bad for you? Why you shouldn't be in this position? Why you should never, ever be on code because you're going to look like a fool in the end. I want to go back and look at every one of them comments from all of them hyenas that has something to say. And it was like, oh my God, you're just so bad. You're just so hard on. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm accurate. I'm very much accurate in my assessment. When I identify bad character, I identify bad character. I know it. I've seen it before. I'm not new to this. I'm not new to this. She was a horrible person. I remember her. Yeah, she had a lot to say. Go ahead, Ardana, whatever your name is.
I'm ugly type shit. I'm ugly type shit.
Pardon?
Am I unattractive to you type shit?
I just feel okay. I want to know what's in there. Are there well,
You
let me
can find out. That,
is it policies? You have policies in there?
Whoever actually wanted to find out for real,
I was gonna ask.
would have
That was
been
my
able
first
to.
question.
Whoever wanted to find out would have been able to. Y'all didn't want to stick around to find that out.
There's something
so.
in there. I don't know if there was
It is.
policies
It
in there.
definitely is. Of course, a suitcase wouldn't be empty. But whoever wanted to actually find out, they would have been able to. You feel me?
Well, and then as you were speaking to the other lady, my name's Adana, by the way. As you're speaking
Nice to meet you, Adana.
Cheers. So as you were speaking to the other ladies, I thought if I wouldn't be able to get rid of you if we broke up or something. Like I feel like you're up to something. And
I'm up to.
So let's go back to Trevor Bauer now that you know who we dealing with. And this is the person that he's talking about that tried to finesse him and me too him.
Now, it's hard to keep track, but she's made at least 4 7-figure demands over the last few years. More than a year after the one time we slept together, and only after Lindsay Hill made up her false allegations, Adana retained a lawyer. She then demanded $3.6 million and claimed
Adana retained a lawyer and demanded $3.6 million in order to not me too him. Yes, she is. After the white girl made her accusations, the woman realized that there's power in solidarity. And so what she did was she said, listen, I want $3.6 million to not throw you under the bus and ruin your career. And these are what you call expensive, high-value women. I told y'all I had a show for y'all today. Oh, yeah, I told you I had a show for y'all today. Yes, these are the high-end, high-value women that y'all are meeting every single day that you feel like it's important for you to take care of. And, man, if he can't meet your demand and you just too good for him, no. They out here, they scammers. You know, I wish that we had a segment of YouTube. I don't have the capacity. I don't have the time for it, so I'm not doing it. I wish we had a segment on YouTube that was dedicated to exposing women scammers that finesse men out of their dollars, but y'all don't want to do that because y'all too busy simping and pandering, and you call it hypergamy. I call it fraud. Well, at least that's what the police said that it is. Check it out. Trevor will explain it to you.
Forced her to have an abortion, leaving her emotionally devastated and irretrievably damaged by it. But here's the thing, she never had an abortion because she was never even pregnant, and that's corroborated by her own medical records. When I refused to pay her the $3.6 million she was asking for, she made up a bogus sexual assault claim and filed a civil suit against me. In that version of her story, she claimed, for the first time by the way, that there was non-consensual sex, but her texts from the next morning show what actually happened. Remember this text in which she explains why she came on to me? She also claims that instead of an abortion, she actually had a miscarriage, but that's impossible, of course, because again, she was never even pregnant. We now have emails between her and the first two law firms that dropped her, in which they acknowledge they never had any evidence to support her claims, but they'll try to get my money anyway. I then shared an audio recording I have in which Adana contradicts her own claims and asks me for money. In the emails, her lawyers agreed that that's insurmountable evidence, and they inform Adana that they can no longer represent her unless she can provide documentation or proof of her claims. Of course, she couldn't do that, so the law firm urged her to consult other law firms with different standards. Now, Adana has filed more than 10 police reports claiming sexual assault or harassment against other men, including at least one other professional athlete.
So the name of her game is finessing men out of money. She don't actually do nothing. She ain't really got no value. You know what she do? She goes and she files false claims against men in order to extort them and then try to finesse them out of a bag. Say it ain't so. Yeah. So now that we know who we dealing with, we're going to let Trevor go ahead and clean the rest of this story up so that he can help y'all to understand why it's important for you to have dick discipline. Number 2, why you have to be careful who you keep around you. Number 3, why it's important for us to continue to have this conversation because it is still a gender war as long as the devil continues to do his work. And number 4, I'm not going nowhere. We're going to continue to have these conversations.
But after the Scottsdale police completed their investigation into her claim against me, she's the one being indicted for felony fraud. And not just against me, against another man as well. She made up bogus sexual assault claims and attempted to extort him too. And it gets worse. In my lawsuit against her, we subpoenaed a witness whom she knew for relevant documents to use in our case.
What now? Do y'all now understand why I make everybody sign paperwork? Now you understand why I have to protect myself, why I'm deathly afraid of women coming in here and coming around me without doing my due diligence and making sure that they sign the paperwork. Now you know why I'm so vigilant and I'm so dedicated to making sure that all of these guys get the same information. It's because it only takes one person to extort you and then to try to ruin your entire life.
And when she found out, she immediately made sexual assault claims against him too. Her MO is clear. Lie to men to get their money, extort them if she must, and when they refuse to pay, stop paying or stop giving her what she wants, go to the police, accuse them of sexual assault, and file a civil suit against them to retaliate. And just so no one can say, well, he still has 2 other accusers, just because the first 2 are complete frauds doesn't mean the others are, here's a couple facts about them. They both had lawyers first demand in excess of $3 million to not go public. In both cases, only after I refused to pay any sum of money did their lawyers make anonymous claims in the media. They both had the opportunity to file a criminal complaint against me. Neither of them did. They both had the opportunity to file a civil suit against me. Neither of them did. They both had the opportunity to participate in Lindsay Hill's civil suit against me. They could have even done so anonymously. They both refused. One of them even submitted a statement to the court stating that she never made public accusations against me. The other refused to participate so vehemently that Lindsay Hill took legal action against her, trying to force her to participate. She still refused. So they both had the opportunity to testify under penalty of perjury. Neither of them did. One can only wonder why. Perhaps it's because all of their claims against me are lies. Now, it's been 2 years since these women and their lawyers attempted to weaponize anonymous claims in the media against me to take my money. I addressed them at the time, and as far as I'm concerned, it's in the past. But if there comes a time in the future where I need to defend myself further, I will not hesitate to do so. For now, there's no reason to speak further on this topic, though, because outside of Adana, who's now been indicted with felony fraud, there are no claims against me, no ongoing investigations, and no outstanding lawsuits. At this point, I'm not sure what else I can possibly do to prove my innocence in all of this. I did not do what I was accused of, And every institution that our society is entrusted to rule on issues like these, like courts, judges, law enforcement officers, prosecutors, they all agree with me. They've rejected every single claim made against me, even going as far as charging one of my accusers with a felony. If any evidence of any of these claims actually existed, I would have been charged, or at the very least arrested. But that never happened. What else do I have to do to prove that this entire situation has been a massive lie? This is insane. At what point do I get to go back to work and continue earning a living?
Never. And you know why? Because it doesn't even matter what you think or how good you are at your job anymore. The only thing that matters is what the court of public opinion determined for you before you was able to prove your innocence. I don't believe most of these women by default, just because they file a civil suit or just because they make a claim or just because they say something in public. It is not cool to throw people under the bus in a court of public opinion and then let that be the court of law. I don't care what accusations is levied against a man. I have to see it. I want to see the evidence. And when the evidence proves that he is thus, such and such, then it's okay for him to be removed out of his job or something like that, or to lose his earning. But just because somebody say it does not mean that it's true. And it's unfortunate because he's one of the few people that has a platform and the money to be able to defend himself. But how many guys, how many people, how many individuals do we not know is actually under duress, lost their entire way, and was falsely accused, or there's another part of it, had to pay the ransom because they didn't want to lose their reputation and their job? How many guys had to pay the ransom? Because that's all it is. It's a ransom. How many dudes chose to pay the ransom because they didn't want to be charged in a court of public opinion? She on the Balloon Pop show, though. And y'all saying that Anton is wrong about holding these women accountable. No, I hold the evil actors accountable. I love great women and I celebrate them and I big them up. I'm married to one. But the ones that's not, we not letting it die. We not letting it go away. This is unreasonable what a lot of these guys are having to go through, unfortunately. Stay vigilant. Stay aware. I always wind up being right. Just take a little bit more time for me to go ahead and prove it to you.